Directional attack expansion, new home cave items, quest updates, and aggressive critters, and so much more, by the way. I said and twice, but there is a lot coming, so let's overview it from the latest devblog for Path of Titans. However, I do want to mention, Stroophy was mentioned in this devblog in depth. If you want to check out the full overview of the Stroophy OTLC and the latest update, I recommend this video right here, which goes through it all. Anyways, let's get right into everything else. I'm tying this part, the foliage updates, into two things. The first one is map updates, because that was spoke about, and the second one is foliage showcases from the developers regarding the new foliage rework. So let's start with the map updates, because while the game has received massive updates to the map, both on Pandora, when you saw at Deep Lake, I think it is, the lake that's shaped like a heart, you know, they've got a nesting site next to it, obviously static nests, but Gondwar has received a lot of updates as well, you know, with the addition of new nest locations on the map. These are evident in areas like Whistling Columns and pretty much everywhere that isn't a major hotspot. And there's also a lot of reworks to points of interest to make way for these nest locations. Namely, the biggest rework is Dried Lake, which has seen a massive change to its texturing and new additions to the point of interest itself. However, the developers did acknowledge that they are currently working on updating both maps to prepare them for some upcoming content in the future. So keep an eye out for anything new in your favorite spots in game. That's what the developers said. And so yeah, that's quite important to know, because they're working on updating the game, these maps, to make way for new content in the future. Perhaps this could tie into nesting or nest building or something like that, nesting sites, because the major points of interest TLCs have came because of those reworks to nest sites or nest areas. Now, of course, another thing that relates to map overhauls, and this could be why the map is updating, is the new foliage. They've showcased more foliage updates and concepts. The first one I'm going to showcase right now on the screen is a new tree fern-like thing. I don't know what this is. They didn't say what it is. They showcased several variations in a image. It looks like these are probably the same size as that of a Daspletosaurus if you're comparing it height-wise, dinosaur-wise. You can't actually tell, but you see a couple variations. It looks like just a really weird, muddy-looking log with some fern leaves sticking out of it, and that's literally that. That is the whole thing. That's it. However, they look pretty cool, and it's likely they'll probably be in the forests as like medium level vegetation. You'll have your trees, you'll have these weird tree looking things, and then you'll probably have the ferns as well at the very bottom, and the cycads as well, probably mixing in. And that is that. The other thing that they mentioned is the introduction of giant roots, and I've spoke about this before. We have a lot more images to showcase. These will tower over the dinosaurs in the game. One of the key things I wanted to mention, they compared this with a Pycno, and this thing is a lot bigger than the Pycnomosaurus. However, these are mainly built for small creatures in mind, so they can run through them and hide amongst them or climb over them as well. When you look at it, you've got an image which it looks like trees will be forming on these roots as well. Not even big trees either. These are relatively small trees coming from these giant roots, so maybe it's just a system where multiple trees will come out from it. That being said, of course, you know, they showcase the height and everything. These are sprawling. It looks like they could be modular as well, and it looks like these will likely be in dense locations, you know, dense forests, and populate it that way, because I wouldn't see them in any other way. Maybe you could get away with these actually in Grand Plains as there was once a big tree here and it's its leftover roots or something. That could be that. Directional attacks are now available in the game. We've seen this on the Kentrosaurus because it's got the tail attack in the game, and this isn't the only thing that we will be getting as well, or the only thing that will be getting directional attacks. The developers said they plan on expanding on this and are working on implementing directional attacks for certain dinosaurs, specifically directional tail attacks. Now, does this rule out completely other attacks getting directional based attacks like that of stomps? You know, if you have a left and a right stomp, can you just have them where you look left, you do the left stomp, if you look right, you do the right stomp? That's not ruled out completely. However, they did say only tail attacks at the moment, so do bear that in mind. It looks like they'll be bringing it to certain dinosaurs as well, so it's likely Stegosaurus, Anodontosaurus, and probably other dinosaurs that rely on their tail mainly. I feel like other dinosaurs that have tail attacks will just get the general sweeping one, and others where they rely on it and it's a mainstay attack, they'll be able to do directional with it. I feel like that's probably what they'll do. Home caves are set to receive massive changes, and this ties into the upcoming updates to the game's questing system, which I'm going to mention about in a short while, mainly the achievement system actually. However, they did say these new home cave decorations, they said that this is going to be massively updated in the future. They're going to completely overhaul and add a lot of variety, more than ever before seen, to the home caves, and they say this will be unlockable through questing, achievements and metric system, and that's what we'll be getting. They did showcase some examples. We've seen these before, the Rex head and the lizard skin carpet thing. They say there's going to be a lot more than this, but this was the example that they showed us. It looks pretty nice. Can't wait to see more of this in the future. But yeah, tying into the questing metric achievement system and all of that, that's coming. So that's going to be very exciting. We're going to talk about the metric system in a moment anyways, and that's going to be pretty neat. The recent game updates brought huge swathes of client improvements. Even the developers mentioned that this saw an 80% increase in the performance in FPS when there are large players in an area, which is something you can feel in the game at the moment, and it's very, very awesome. Like, even I notice it in some areas when there's a lot of people, even during migration events. The performance is way better, and it's also better on the servers too. Tick rate is a lot higher. However, the developers did say, although they are very excited about this, there is still a lot of work that they still want to be done regarding this. There's a lot more optimisations to get this properly working, and they want to enable more people to be able to benefit from the game improvements and get better FPS. Shout out to you people who still play the game on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch, because this will likely affect you guys the most. Also, lower end mobile phones. If you're still playing this on an old iPhone or an old Samsung, then there's something seriously wrong with you. That being said, I feel like this will tie heavily into the 200 player servers, as these optimizations are important to come to the server in the future, the game in the future, before the devs implement 200 player servers. Because if you implement 200 player servers, then you don't have the hot patches in place like before. There's going to be a lot of problems with performance there. It's just not going to be fun. The metric system has seen a lot of progress and is now in internal testing stages. Yep, you heard it here. That's it. Internal testing stages for the metric system. The developers said that this is a huge step and a big step for all the other mechanics that this will depend on in the future. For example, the new questing system will need the metric system and the new achievement system because they tie heavily to that metric system. The developers also showcased an in-progress image of the UI for the upcoming metric system, and it looks great. We also get to see, technically, you'll have your quests, you'll have your triumphs, and triumphs in my eyes, I believe they are achievements. Then you have metrics as well. So for metrics, you can see a lot of metrics that you'll be able to get: total distance traveled, crits killed, fish killed, damage by falling, died by falling, unique corpses eating, unique waystones interacted, purchased home cave room upgrades, teleported by waystoned another player, and reached adult stage and reached new growth stage, which is pretty neat there. The damage by fallen one, I feel like I'll end up being the number one in. Or you know what? That's probably the easiest one to be in number one in, unless you're a hacker and you're just perpetually going up and down, up and down, up and down. I wonder how that would work if you have admin perms on a server, because you might be able to cheat there. Do you not get metrics if you are using commands? Who knows? And finally, best till last, in my eyes the biggest and most important thing when it comes to Path of Titans: aggressive critters. Yep, a highly requested community feature is coming. Aggressive AI is something that developers have been working on and even put on the public test branch temporarily. Developers said that this is something they've made good progress on and is getting closer to. Additionally, this means that AI will be able to spawn freely from the burrows they are in, but they will also attack you if you are small enough. For example, before, when it was on the public test branch, they could attack you if you had lower combat weight than a Struthiomimus, but I think that has changed since then, or maybe it's changed, who knows. Equally, they did share a teaser of this where a bunch of AI dig themselves out of a burrow and just charge a player. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. You could probably do some form of survival event where like you get a bunch of people in an area, you get a bunch of AI, and then you just get like the AI to just attack the people, and the last man standing or whatever, you killed all the AI, you win or something. And it could tie into boss fights as well. Imagine that. That'd be sick. I think that would be really cool. I think this actually does tie into the fact that admins can edit burrows now and set critters to auto spawn anyways. So that's going to be neat to see the actual aggressive AI come in as well. We saw a glimpse of it. It'll probably end up coming on the public test branch soon. The developers did say they'll share more with us as it goes. That being said, everybody, that is the brand new devblog for Path of Titans full overview. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you think. I'm very excited for this stuff, mainly the aggressive critters. But other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.